No warrior could stop the risen dead, but perhaps a gravedigger could. Wren is a gravedigger in the small village of Colbren. Ever since her parents died, Wren has only cared about keeping her family and their graveyard safe. The biggest problem of being a gravedigger in Colbren is that the dead don't always stay dead. Risen dead, known as bone houses, have been roaming the forest and mountains at night ever since a curse was unleashed decades ago. When Ellis, a mapmaker's apprentice with a mysterious past, arrives in town, the bone houses start to attack. Together, Ellis and Wren venture into the woods to break the curse and learn about themselves in the process. Will they succeed? Who exactly is Ellis? Find out in The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd-Jones.
In this dystopian thriller set in America nearly a century from now, a young woman discovers lies undermining her community when she seeks to complete her late mother's unfinished paintings. Mary Beckley, 16 years old, just wants to become a government-approved artist and to work in Chicago's City Pride Department. But after a stranger entrusts her with a piece of paper, use of which has become heavily discouraged for environmental reasons, with the word verify, a term not recognized by society, on it, Mary begins a search for meaning that leads to an underground society of scholars dedicated to remembering the time before the U.S. government banned books, rewrote history, and erased subversive words such as diversity, vulnerable, and entitlement. But while the stewards would rather hide away and avoid detection, Mary is determined to fight back and reveal the truth to the world at any cost.
Coyote and her dad have road tripped on a bus for the last 5 years. That's how long it's been since her mom and sisters died. Coyote wants to go back home to dig up the treasure she buried with her mom and sisters. But she has to trick her dad to do it, all 3,600 miles of it in 4 days. They pick up several travelers along the way home, and everyone has their own story of hope, loss, love, family. Will they all get to their destinations? Will they be able to solve their problems? Will Coyote and her dad really be able to go home again? Read The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise.
Ever since his mother was killed in the line of duty in Iraq, Derek has been absolutely certain that the apocalypse is coming, and he's prepared. He's got plenty of canned goods. He's fully outfitted with hazmat suits, and he's building himself a sturdy fallout shelter. When his neighbor Misty insists on helping with the shelter, Derek doesn't think it's such a good idea. Misty has just had a kidney transplant, and her reaction to her brush with death is the opposite of Derek's. Where Derek wants to hide, Misty wants to see and do everything. But as confident as Misty is, Derek's doomsday fears just keep getting worse. And Derek's promised apocalypse day begins with a very strange disaster. Derek and Misty have to figure out a way to survive, especially when the end of the world as they know it looks nothing like they expected. Wherever the sharks led, Lucy Everhart's marine biologist mother was sure to follow. In fact, she was on a boat far off the coast of Massachusetts preparing to swim with a great white when she died suddenly. Lucy was 8. Since then, Lucy and her father have done okay, thanks in part to her best friend Fred and a few close friends and neighbors. But June of her 12th summer brings more than the end of school and a heat wave to sleepy Rockport. On one steamy day, the tide brings a great white, and then another tragedy, cutting short a friendship everyone insists was meaningful, but no one can tell Lucy what it all meant. To survive the fresh wave of grief, Lucy must grab the line that connects her depressed father, a stubborn fisherman, and a curious old widower to her mother's unfinished research. If Lucy can find a way to help this unlikely quartet follow the sharks her mother loved, she'll finally be able to look beyond what she's lost and toward what's left to be discovered.
Jude is happy in Syria. She has a family who loves her. A house to call home. Warm, delicious pita bread for her Azarwanya every day. And Fatima, a best friend to play with and share secrets. But then her war-torn country becomes dangerous. and her mother thinks they should flee to America. There, they can stay with her mother's brother. His family lives in Cincinnati. Uncle Maxim is nice. Aunt Michelle is kind. And Jude's cousin Sarah is mostly okay too. But Cincinnati is not home. America is not home. It's not what Jude is used to. Jude misses Baba terribly. She's scared for her brother Isa. And she longs for time with Fatima again. America is different. America is hard. Will Jude make it in a new country? Will she ever get to go home? How will she navigate in a new town? A new school? A new language? A new everything? How will she handle herself when faced with difficult situations? Read this powerful and hope-filled story today to find out.
It's been almost a year since Rain's brother Guthrie died, and her parents still have no idea that it's all Rain's fault. In fact, no one does. Rain buried her secret deep, no matter how heavy it weighs on her heart. When her mom suggests moving the family from Vermont to New York City, Rain agrees to the plan. But she couldn't have imagined how different life in the big city would be. She's never seen so many people squished together in one place in her entire life, or felt more like an outsider. With her mom and dad fighting more than ever, and the anniversary of Guthrie's death approaching, Rain is determined to keep her family together and her big secret close to her heart. But even Rain knows that when you bury things deep, they grow twice as tall. The unteachables are a notorious class of misfits, delinquents, and academic train wrecks, like Aldo, with anger management issues, Parker, who can't read, Kiana, who doesn't even belong in the class, or any class, and Elaine, rhymes with pain. The unteachables have been removed from the student body and isolated in room 117. Their teacher is Mr. Zachary Kermit, the most burned-out teacher in all of Greenwich. He was once a rising star, but his career was shattered by a cheating scandal that still haunts him. After years of phoning it in, he is finally 1 year away from early retirement. But the superintendent has his own plans to torpedo that idea, and it involves assigning Mr. Kermit to the unteachables. The unteachables never thought they'd find a teacher who had a worse attitude than they did, and Mr. Kermit never thought he would actually care about teaching again. Over the course of a school year, though, room 117 will experience mayhem, destruction, and maybe even a shot at redemption.
Josh Bell is my name, but Filthy McNasty is my claim to fame. Folks call me that cause my game's a claim. So downright dirty it'll put you to shame. My hair is long, my height's tall. See, I'm the next Kevin Durant, LeBron, and Chris Paul. My twin brother is a baller. The only thing he loves more than basketball is betting. Jordan insisted everyone call him JB. In this game of life, your family is the court and the ball is your heart. No matter how good you are, no matter how down you get, always leave your heart on the court. The crossover. Life doesn't come with a playbook.